Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Herd Hoop Stats podcast. Once again, I'm here with Alford Corriette. We are in Phoenix. It is Saturday night. Feels like a blur, but we just left the arena after the WNBA All-Star game. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about it. It's been a great weekend and kind of let you know some of our thoughts and just kind of the vibes we picked up around the Valley.
Yeah, I think overall this experience has been fun. The events that have been taking place have been great for fans, great for bringing the WNBA and overall women's basketball community here in Phoenix to enjoy it. The All-Star game was very interesting in terms of how it panned out. I don't think many people expected the route it went, but I think it was good for the game, and I'm ready to talk about it.
Absolutely. I thought we'd go maybe in, reverse chronological order. Does that make sense? Just kind of our memory is probably best about what happened tonight, and we'll fade as we go over the weekend. So I think for me, one of the most amusing moments actually was in the post-game press conferences. Enrique was asked about the question about becoming a two-time WNBA All-Star MVP. And it was pointed out accurately that, in fact, the 2 years she won it are 2021 and 2024. And NECA just was on, she was on the dais, I guess you'd say, with her and just started, she was like, for real? Or something to that effect, cracked up and looked at her. Enrique just kind of gave her a sheepish grin. And she's like, and I was like, I think there's a correlation there. So definitely it seems like Team USA versus Team WNBA All-Star games are Enrique's moment. And so I think, I don't know if you can get a futures bet on her for for All-Star MVP in 2028. But maybe, hopefully she'll be on. I'm sure she hopes. And if she keeps playing like she did tonight, she'll be on the Team USA. I wonder if she can win it from the other side.
Yeah. With Enrique's performance tonight, especially in the first half, it wasn't like this was a game where you said, like, okay, Enrique is going to be the MVP.
She had 0 points at the end of the first half.
Yeah, because really it seemed like, okay, this might be a Brianna Stewart or Asia Wilson MVP, yes, or even on the Team WNBA side, maybe a John Paul Jones MVP. But then Enrique just exploded in the second half, and it was just three-pointer after tough shot, just insane. I've never seen anything like it in person.
So, yeah.
To see Enrique, just have that explosion and then secure an MVP. It's great stuff all around.
Yeah, and it was really fun that moment, and it really felt like, I got to say, I thought the game was a little dull in the first half to some degree. There wasn't a lot of energy in the building, which kind of surprised me. I don't know. I was going to ask you, how did you think compared to a intense Liberty game, right? You're at Barclays all the time. I would imagine it actually would feel louder, right?
Yeah, I think at first it didn't really, maybe the first couple of shots, especially when DT had the first three-pointer, it was loud. But then there was a little bit of a drop-off in terms of, just the overall cheers. But then, as soon as Enrique started picking it up, you just felt the electricity just rise.
And I thought one thing that was really fun about it was it wasn't just Enrique. They were kind of going back and forth. Yeah. I mean, from it reminded me of that classic Duke Kentucky men's NCAA, I think Elite Eight game where they just kept hitting shot after shot. And it was, I haven't checked the play-by-play, but it felt like they had seven, each team, they were going back, it was 7 3-pointers in a row on consecutive plays before I think Brianna Stewart ended the streak with a layup where no one was covering her. So I think that was what made it cool. It was Enrique was hitting them all for Team WNBA, and Team USA was answering, but a little bit different people because the crowd roared. I think that was the moment it felt, aside from that opening hammer play they ran for DT to start the scoring, that felt like the moment when the crowd was kind of most juiced. And then you weren't quite sure if Team USA was going to, or USA was going to be able to make a comeback. I was kind of looking forward to kind of a very close finish, but Team WNBA pulled away.
Well, Team USA tried to make it close at the end, and but it was just one of those situations where it's too little, too late in a sense where Team WNBA just had such a cushion that it was just tough for Team USA.
Now, given it was an All-Star game, did you want them to start playing the foul game earlier? It seems like you don't have to worry about fouling people out in Team USA. You just keep bringing in Olympians.
Yeah, I don't know if necessarily one of those, but there were some chirps and some murmurs about, are they really stopping the clock in a WNBA All-Star
exactly.
at the end? So
that's what they were saying on Media Row, where you were sitting on the
Media Row, and some of the fans above, people just wanted to get the game over with and head out. to whatever.
Yes. I think that was kind of a mixed thing, right? It was like sort of like, hey, it's just an all-star game, but then also sort of the Team USA, Team WNBA. I don't know if chipping is quite the right word, but more competitive than the usual all-star game. Actually, Asia Wilson was incredibly funny. Also, in the post-game press conference, someone asked her about whether she preferred kind of these, more intense games, a little more defense, and she was like, "Wait, like in this Olympic year or in general?" And they sort of said kind of either or both. And she's like, "Hey, in Olympic year, we understand it, but like, I'll be honest with you. In a non-Olympic year, we do not want to play defense." It was everybody laughs. So Asia, I mean, she is just such a star. She's so, she's so talented on the court and just so amazing off the court too. I just really love how engaging she is. She understands the importance of like communicating with media, communicating with the fans, and really helping kind of sell the league. And she's such a great ambassador. And so wonderful to see. She got some big cheers today. We'll jump back to go strictly reverse chronological order. I have a question for you about the halftime show, but I was struck that the intros, big cheer first for Caitlin Clark, but it wasn't just for her. I felt like Enrique was right after her, and it seemed equally, if not louder, for Enrique. I mean, I think a lot of players, really got their shine, got their flowers, as people say. And, it was really nice to see the appreciation. I think a lot of people from Vegas must have come out. Minnesota was there as well. I actually saw Glenn Taylor, their owner, a current owner. I guess it's a little bit indeterminate how that's going to play out. Walking in the bowels of the arena afterwards. So he was here. I didn't catch how many. Obviously, Matt Ishbia, they showed on screen. I don't know how many other of the actual WNBA owners were here. But yeah, I really liked the way that the fans were clearly supportive. We did get that one moment, I guess it was in the second half, the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese kiss.
Yes.
I was kind of waiting for that the whole first half, and can't we all just get along, right? That's sort of what did Angel say? We all got to wear our get along T-shirts. What she said yesterday in the press conference. So I thought that was really nice, and but it was different, right? The one thing what did strike me was we didn't have as many of the fun all-star moments, right? Because it was a more intense game. Like I don't remember seeing Alyssa Thomas. I would have liked to see like Alyssa Thomas and Dewana Potter, go at it one-on-one on the one side of the court and then the other way, so they could each kind of get a turn. Maybe we didn't see anything like that.
There were moments last year in Vegas. I remember like little fun moments. One-on-one. There was a cool incident. I believe it was like Nneka Bumake playing keep away with Enrique Bumboa.
I think
little fun stuff like that. You didn't really see as much, but sometimes it's a good trade-off to have a more intense game where like the fans really get into it in the second half versus maybe like too many.
Yeah, that's the cost. It's fun to have it be a more intense kind of real basketball game, and I actually do generally tend to prefer that. But definitely the all-time for me most enjoyable all-star moment that I got to witness live was a all-star game. I forget what year it was when they were in Vegas in 2019 or 18. But yeah, it was kind of a little bit more like what I described. Liz Cambage and Brittany Griner were kind of playing point guard for like one possession each, covering each other. And so I think they both tried to take a three or maybe at least run an ISO from the top of the key. It was kind of fun to watch them go back and forth. That was the year they allowed like one hockey sub per per quarter, if I remember correctly. I was glad I guess because it's an Olympic year, I was glad that the WNBA did not have any crazy rules like the starry 4-point contest, 4-point shot kind of thing. What other kind of things do you remember about the game itself? Anything else stand out from the play on the court?
I think we had the Angel Reese double-double.
Yes.
Fans cheered for. I was surprised that fans were actually keeping track of that.
I think it's important, especially to Angel Reese fans, and it's an incredible achievement. She's a rookie. I mean, it's great, yeah. And I guess Caitlin Clark had 10 assists, and I guess the record's 11 with Sue Bird. Afterward in the press conference, she's like, "Oh no, Sue deserved it. I wanted her to keep that." So Caitlin was also really funny. She's like, "Hey, I'm on vacation. It's your last time talking to me." And she was very excited. She was asked what she was going to do to relax. She's like, "Oh no, I'm not telling you my vacation plan." So I think it's clear that she's been playing nonstop for so long, and I think she is looking to break. Also, people talk about should she be. She even got some questions about being on the on Team WNBA and not on Team USA. She always like handles it so well. She's like fully supporting the team. It's like clearly seemed content. Playing her role to help prepare them. And it's like more than like she's like they've got this. It's referred back to how the Team USA had also lost in 2021 in the run up to the Tokyo Olympics, and they were fine. And so, I just think she handles it all so well. There's a lot of noise. One other thing that struck me actually about this was it seemed like there was a lot less noise than at least in the building than a lot of people you've seen on Twitter, and also at the Final Four. There was a lot more stuff here. It was much more about basketball. Like I said, I think that Caitlin and Angel seem like they get along. At least as far as we can tell on the outside. I'm no expert. I'm not going to be a body language doctor or anything like that. But it's great to see. And she says all the right things. I think Angel Reese, again, represents herself so well. It's great what she does. So. I thought it was just a wonderful thing. One thing I forgot to mention, the line that Enrique had tonight to earn the MVP is insane. She had 34 points.
6 assists.
Yeah, she shot 10 for 20, 8 for 13 from 3, and 6 of 7 from the line. 6 assists, and I'll point out no turnovers.
Yeah.
I did not get a chance to look that up before we recorded, but I was going to try and use our research tool to see, how often that's happened ever in the WNBA, let alone against an Olympic team, right? That's such an accomplishment. So it's great to see her. I will say, wasn't quite the same thing, but I was fortunate enough to be in the building for the what I call the Enrique Final Four when Notre Dame won it all. And that was just spectacular. It was actually my first Final Four. And I was just like, oh, man, after these 3 games, it's all downhill from here. But, Enrique, she heats up. She's such a talent. Any other stuff about the game itself?
Thinking about it, I think the main thing is like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese connection.
Yeah.
It did seem like they were really pressuring Caitlin Clark on offense, and she couldn't really get breakaways for those 3-point looks that she liked.
Mm-hmm.
They really tried to make it work with one of those buckets. And
it's like they're the best players in the world playing great defense. Exactly. Alicia Gray shined a little bit tonight too. Yeah. I always think that she's very appreciated, and again tonight she kind of did her thing. She played. What did she play? 22 minutes, 16 points. I think actually she set a record for most free throws. I saw it for the NBA. I think they sent out a press release that she went 9 for 10, and I think the previous All-Star record was 8.
Oh,
so
Alicia Gray is the record.
It's it's unclear to me if Aflac paid Enrique as well for the MVP, but it'll be interesting how that plays out last year. Okay, well, if anything else comes up, let me know. I guess a couple of questions I wanted to ask you about just sort of the in-arena thing. We already talked a little bit about the cheers and the intros. Pitbull, what did you think about halftime?
Oh, I think Pitbull was interesting. There was some parts of the crowd that were enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Some parts were kind of it's not my cup of tea. I thought it was a decent performance. Not
Are you a fan?
I'm not a fan.
Okay.
But I felt like last year's performance had more aura.
Who was it?
Kalani.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I feel like the crowd was just hooked and synced, and the energy just matched what Kalani was performing versus what Pitbull.
Yes.
Because it's 2 different styles.
Well, that's what I was going to say. First of all, whenever I think Pitbull and I think basketball, I think it's the 2014 NBA playoffs promo. It was he was the guy for the thing, and all he used to do is just go playoffs, right? With the timber, and I just did playoffs. So I was hoping we would get an All-Star tonight, but he disappointed me. But then, really, my question for you is: do you think it's good for the WNBA or bad for the WNBA that I actually recognize most of those songs?
I don't know.
I think it's debatable. I don't know that it's good that a guy in my position.
I think if you want fans to kind of know who the artist is, and, be engaged and sing the songs and have a fun time at halftime shows. But I know there was some online chatter on if Brother Pitbull was the best fit.
Yes, for sure.
Phoenix and All-Star. Some people thought that Pitbull might not have been the best, but
Yeah, I think people were. Yeah, I saw some people asking for a female performer,
yeah,
right?
that's
You know, I mean, clearly, I guess the fact that even I know, actually, you know, not just know who he is, but you know, recognize songs. It speaks to how popular he really is, right? It's reached this middle-aged white guy. So. But yeah, so it's funny. Yeah, again, I don't think I'm the target audience for that, um, but hopefully people enjoyed it at least. It was interesting. Um, Another thing that amused me was here's the other question related to football. Who do you think was the biggest celebrity present today?
ooh, that's a good question.
And would you have wanted Ty Dolla Sign to perform?
I wouldn't mind the Ty Dolla Sign performance, but it's kind of to that same level. It's like, is he big enough now that most fans gravitate and say, "Oh, this is something I want to do," rather than it's like, Ty Dolla Sign is like the best of the best that that we can offer. But in terms of biggest celebrity here tonight, that's interesting. I mean,
So
you had a lot of good celebrities. You had Sue Bird, you had Jason Sudeikis, you had Marvin Harrison Jr.
where do you rank Marvin Harrison Jr.? You know, I feel like we get. I think the answer might have actually been Sue Bird. I don't know. Aubrey Plaza was here as well, and last night too. She was representing. Who else? Over it. A little less familiar with his work, I gotta confess.
I mean, he's good. Probably it have to be either Sue Bird or Fabulous. I think.
Really?
In terms of like that was at least visible on the jumbotron because there could have been celebrities that were elsewhere. Oh, Shannon Sharp was there.
Oh yeah, that was who. Yeah, do you think he? I was thinking he might be.
And Shannon Sharp probably could be up there. For
yeah, I mean, people probably watch Shannon Sharp, as much as they watch Aubrey Plaza and Jason Sudeikis on. I don't know if you call it prestige TV. I wonder if Shannon Sharp probably has more people watching him in a given year than some of the other folks there. So, but yeah, so that was good. I enjoyed that. I gotta say, Phoenix loves Sophie Cunningham.
Yes, they do.
She was, I think, a big hit all weekend. I cracked up when they showed her on the jumbotron chugging. She saw she was on, chugged the beer.
Yep.
Crowd went wild. I gotta say, have you seen that happen much at Liberty games that you go to?
Not with a player, but
well, just even a celebrity.
Not in that situation. I think usually like they have a nice, package. You know who's
exactly.
They have some time to prepare. Get ready for the cameras and everything.
I had flashbacks to when I used to work for the Sixers. Jason Kelsey used to do that. The Eagles players. I think he would chug too, like one little timeout. So I think it would be interesting. We should lobby to get Sophie Cunningham on the the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis. I think she would be a hit.
Oh yeah, definitely. To chug beers, I think people will love that type of content.
Yes. The crowd went wild. They love her. I know that. I think Sophie has her fans, and some people are not fans, but she definitely has her fans. That's for sure.
Sophie has her fans. Tasha Cloud got some.
Oh yes, she did. Cheryl Swoops and Kim Hampton. Yeah.
Penny Taylor was seen on the board a few times, and she got some good cheers.
And then actually, I think one of the biggest cheers and one of the tweets that you put out that I think we got the most kind of engagement with was the WBL players.
Yes,
that was cool. I think how the crowd appreciated it. That brings me to a question I was going to ask you. I didn't get a chance to ask. I was going to ask Commissioner Engelbert this question in her press conference. But what did you think of Cheryl Miller and who was it? Amar Drysdale, and I forget who the third person was on their staff. I meant to look that up before we started. I apologize. What did you think of having them as the coaching staff for Team WNBA? I guess I forgot Lisa Leslie had done it in 2020.
I thought it was great. I think moments like that where you're able to appreciate legends of the game and legends just in the vicinity is always a great thing. So incorporating that and giving them their moment to shine and giving them their moment to be incorporated with the game itself, you can't go wrong with that.
Exactly. I think I want to start a petition. I think they should do every year. They should have the leading coach, and they should have like a former great or some kind of connection to the history as a way to kind of help connect today's fans, the new fans, to the history. I think it would be a great sort of living history lesson and a chance to honor the folks. I think it obviously works out well. Cheryl, of course, with her connections to Phoenix. And so, and her whole staff, she was hilarious. I think it was Taj Williams Franklin called her up to ask her if she wanted to coach, and she was like, "The coach? No way! That's way too much work." And she was like, "For the All-Star game." She's like, "Oh, okay." For that, so. Yeah, the other thing, right, of course, was, I do think probably some of the biggest cheers the whole night really were for Diana Taurasi. It felt like a real celebration for her, a chance to honor her. And it was just so nice to see her appreciate it, being appreciated. She was clearly, I think, kind of soaking it all in, savoring it. People were wondering whether, she was going to retire at the end of the year, right? They were wondering if she's going to play not just in this Olympics, but 4 years from now in 2028. But it was really just nice to see it. And actually, one of the most heartwarming moments I saw today was pregame. She and BG were kind of being interviewed together at a press conference, and you could just see the love between the two of them. She kept, Griner was saying nice things, and she kind of like leaned over, and tapped her under the table, say thanks, and then vice versa. It was just, they just speak. They're so connected. You can just see it when they speak. I thought it was really heartwarming.
Yeah, given the locale, given the fans, they really make that moment special because it's a good chance for them to just appreciate what they have. Phoenix.
Yes. So, and I feel privileged to be able to witness, to be here to witness part of it. Definitely going to tell my kids about it. My grandkids, right? It's, I remember Diana Taurasi back in the day. Going backwards chronological order. So Kathy gave her press conference, not a ton of new information. She reiterated that the goal is 16 teams by 2028, so more expansion. She didn't say anything because nothing's signed for the new TV deals, although she was asked about it a few times. Question I was going to ask her, because she did sort of bring up the rookie class and the upcoming draft classes, and how exciting they all are. So, a question I was going to ask her, I'll ask you instead, is like, do you think it's actually in the league's interest during the next CBA negotiation, whether they, someone opts out and they have to renegotiate it sooner, or if they let it go to completion, to change the draft eligibility rule to let younger players in?
I think it depends really, because I think the best case scenario you can think of right now is a player like a Juju Watkins.
Yeah, right.
Where she has tons of star power, she'd be great for the league, but is she physically ready to handle the grind wear and tear of the WNBA? So I think the league has to really factor in things in the future. It could get to that point, but I don't think we see the benefit yet.
Yeah, well, what I think is fascinating, right? So clearly, I think the NCAA still has more viewership, right? More interest. Just historically, how the WNBA is growing. But in the NBA, which I know you and I both know a bit about, right? Like the argument about whether one and done and all that on the men's side, like for the league to agree to it is kind of, I think, viewed as a concession. But I think the situation is a little reversed here, because like if the WNBA could sort of entice some of these stars that are in some ways more, I mean, I don't know, is Juju Watkins more famous than Breanna Stewart? Like, as crazy as that sounds, she's got quite the following. I'm not saying she is, but like it's kind of crazy. That's a question, I think. And so you could argue that actually would be in the league's interest, and so like that wouldn't even be a concession; it would be something they would want. And then, of course, it gives more power to the players and let her. I'm kind of pro player in that respect. Like they should get the chance to do it and decide. I mean, you certainly could argue if we can have two rookies in the All-Star game, and one with 10 rebounds, one with 10 assists, that like they probably would have been okay to be. Maybe they've been quite this good last year, but they probably would have been okay. So. I think it's a fascinating question. That's something I'm going to be interested in during the negotiations, besides just the revenue split piece of it. So saw that. It was really great. Again, Cheryl Miller was so enjoyable in all her press conferences. So it was great to hear her. That happened right before that. This morning we went to Basketball Without Borders. You want to talk a little bit about your experiences there? What you saw? What we saw?
It was great. Good experience. Basketball Without Borders to do that over the past 2 days. get to see some of the top high school and just general high school prospects internationally. Over 20 different countries were represented. They did different things such as drills for skill development. They're able to do exhibition games, get in-game reps from reputable coaches and staff, people like April Sykes. Uh, Shea Petty was also participating as one of the coaches as well. So
Did you mention Shakira Austin? We saw
Shakira Austin was a special guest today, giving some of the campers insight, and they were really able to showcase what they can do in front of collegiate coaches across the country. There were some GMs there. Connecticut Sun GM Darius Taylor was in attendance for one of them. Sparks GM Regan Pebley was in attendance for one. I saw Dallas Wings coach Patricia Trammell there today. So it really goes to show how global the game is and how vested coaches and GMs, especially here, are vested into what the game can be internationally in the future.
Exactly. And Liberty were there too. Shout out to old friend Ben Dole, their player personnel. I didn't catch whether he's currently a director of player personnel or he's just player personnel guru, but he's a guru. So it was great to catch up with him a little bit. And so yeah, it was a great experience. Chance to meet Simon Lister, right, runs the program. And it was at the Suns training facility. So, and it sounds like they put them up at the Phoenician. They actually showed them at the game tonight. So I think it's been an amazing experience. I gotta say, Canadians looked impressive. Argentinians looked impressive. There's definitely a lot of young talent out there. So I'm excited. So I'm trying to think other. I think that probably covers today. Anything else? Any other flashbulb moments from today?
I think that covers most of today. I think we can delve into
Let's talk about my victory. I mean, Alicia Gray's victory last night. It was Alicia Gray night.
Yes, it was.
All-Star Friday night. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was a Friday night last year, though, right? I think it was Saturday and then Sunday. But All-Star Friday night, and Aflac, I guess, working with the WNBPA, kind of upped the the prize. It's called out in the CBA, and so per the CBA, so the WNBA, she earned $25.75 for each of her two victories. She's the first back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but winning both events of the night, both the skills challenge and the All-Star and the 3-point contest. So she earned $25.75. She got a little over $5,000. Not bad for a night's work. A few minutes of basketball, but Aflac really kind of stepped up thanks to the conversations with the WNBPA, and she earned $55,000 for each of them. So she earned $110,000 from Aflac, and now because her base salary is $185,000, she earned $190,000. She's going to earn $190,000 depending on any postseason award she gets. But that's what she's currently on track for. And
not a bad payday.
Not bad. So now she's earning $300,000 for the year combined, which is more than a supermax by about $60 million. And it's fascinating. Sorry, $60,000. Yeah, to make more than $60 million a year. Sorry, apologies there. Thanks, Alfred. It'll be, I guess, NIL era of the WNBA. We'll see if we can maybe see her as a special guest star in a commercial. Affleck's got to, maybe Dawn can have her on, right? She played for Dawn at South Carolina, so that would be a fun little treat as well.
It'd be interesting if they infuse something with her goggles into the commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
One of her specialties now, she wears goggles.
Yeah. She talked about why she wears them, right? I guess she got poked in the eye, I think, during 3-on-30 in the last Olympics. So, I was really happy for her. She seems like a cool person, and again, she thinks she's slightly under the radar. So while it would have been nice to have seen some of the superstars in some of these events, it was really nice to see some of the other players kind of get a chance to really show out. We'll see. I don't know. Jonquel Jones kind of was nice and prominent. Unclear when she's going to get another State Farm yet, but
we'll see what she can do. But she really made the 3-point contest very intriguing on Friday night. It was down to the wire and just so close, but Alicia Gray ended up winning the contest.
Yeah, that money ball, right? It goes to Jonquel Jones, but she missed, and so Alicia Gray. And Holly had sort of called it, right, in the post skills competition. Holly wrote, so I thought that was pretty entertaining. Also, I got to say, it was a really nice moment that when Kelsey Mitchell came out, Eric
Wheels.
Wheels. Although yeah, it's sort of an interesting situation though. It's unclear to me if she had her Fever jersey here.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe.
No. Oh, one other question I wanted to ask you. Something that's been fun the whole weekend is all of the different mascots being here.
Yeah,
now, I know, like a lot of people, you are pro Big or Ellie.
Yes.
Big Ellie. Does she go by Ellie or Big Ellie? Why is it? That part confused
It's
me.
interchangeable, but I think everyone knows it's Big Ellie.
Okay.
I think that's apropos for her big
So,
personality.
Let's. What's your thought on the etiquette of non-Liberty players hanging out with her and being happy to interact with her? Asia Wilson or whatever was clearly enjoying it.
Listen, Ellie's a superstar.
Yes.
And, when you're a superstar, everyone wants to hang out with you. Everyone wants to experience the Big Ellie mystique.
Yes.
So I have no problem with it. It just goes to show that Big Ellie's doing her thing.
Yes. How much do they interact with her at Liberty games?
Oh, a ton.
The other players do?
Oh, well, not the other players.
That's the thing. But when Aces come to town, how much is Asia playing with her?
Oh, I don't think as much because I think Asia's more focused on Liberty, on Garden Grant Stewart rather than.
Well, I do think there's a crossover opportunity for the NBA sickos to come over and watch WNBA if they'd invited Robin Lopez to hang with the mascots. He, of course, is famous among NBA diehards for his engagement with the sometimes fighting, but so we would hopefully see him on his best behavior. But he definitely loves the mascots, so it'd be cool to bring him in as another celebrity as well. So yeah, so that was a fun thing to see them cruising around. Yeah, an amusing moment last night that I saw behind the scenes. I think some of the people got this out on Twitter. Was Brittany Griner on the tricycle? Did you see her? She was just biking around on a little tricycle. Yeah, after the 3-point contest press conferences, as the press was filing out. So there have been some funny little moments that I saw.
I think there was a moment of Brittany Griner in the car.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I only saw that on social media a little bit. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, but again, it was Alicia Gray's night and a lot of fun and she's fast. But yeah, it was good. I got to say, it gave us a nice storyline. It made it an enjoyable All-Star Saturday night, even though I think, again, some people wanted to see Caitlin or Angel and Angel. They both wanted to see both of them in there. Would be nice to see a rebounding skills competition. That would be cool. Or a motor competition, right? That would favor Angel. What did you think about the 3-on-3 during the All-Star Saturday?
I thought it was a nice wrinkle.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the fans may have enjoyed the 3-on-3, but I thought it was still good to let the 3-on-3 players showcase their skills in front of an audience like that. We had players like Haley Van Lith, like Cody McMahon, and getting them in a packed arena and letting them, show what they can do to a larger audience that may not be necessarily.
That was a lot of fun. I got to say that I like 3-on-3 in general because it's intriguing. I do remember liking it more during the Olympics than I did last night. I think the crowd was just sort of a little confused, sort of made it feel a little sterile. I feel like you need a little more of some kind of hype man or something during it because I vaguely recall that that's what they do in general. So I need the Rucker Park kind of feel for it or something. That would have made it a little more fun. But it is cool. It's an interesting thing. I can't say that I watch a ton of 3-on-3 or 3X, I guess they call it now. But it was cool. It was nice. I didn't realize it was going to be a whole basically 30-minute segment. So that was an interesting part of it. Yeah, and trying to think anything else. I mean, really, Alicia Gray was the story, and the Affleck WNBA deal was the story. Any other thoughts about the All-Star Friday night?
Yeah, I think it was great for the fans, even though they may have been questions about the field and strength of the field. I think they still had fun for what they were able to do. And I think, seeing Alicia Gray won, there was a lot of fans there for Alicia Gray, so it was good for them as well.
Yes. There were a lot of fans for everyone, which was really nice. And one thing I forgot to mention, they did announce it was a sellout, I think 16,407 tonight. So that was wonderful. And I was a little nervous at the start, frankly, of the All-Star Friday night that it looked a little thin, but of course it was 6 o'clock local time on a Friday, and so definitely people filed in, and it was there were still seats available, I would say, in the upper bowl, but it was also quite crowded by the time the 3-point contest started, which was I think around 7 local time. So that was nice to see. Yeah, before that, we also spent a bit of time. There was media availability both for Team WNBA and Team USA, kind of during the morning/day, I guess I would say, here at the Footprint Center. What struck you about the conversations that you saw or have, the answers to questions you asked during that press conference?
I think what just struck me is like how open players are.
Yes.
They're not necessarily willing to hold things back. They're definitely willing to share, they're willing to be candid, and I think that's the best part about talking with these players. They really get to see things from their perspective, from their point of view.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I think that, certain players, are just so thoughtful and, you can tell really take it serious. And I understand that it's a lot of obligations for players and, not everybody enjoys talking to the media, but the ones that do, it's just a real treat, right? NECA, every time, I'm present to, ask her a couple questions and see her answers to everybody else. She's so thoughtful, has such a great kind of observations and perspective. You can see why she's the leader of the WNBPA. So I'll be, she's, got a lot to digest. Hopefully she'll get to dig into some of these reports on the new TV deal. I was actually kind of surprised how many players hadn't really thought a ton beyond the headlines. I think they're just so wrapped up in the day-to-day of playing that they hadn't really had a lot of time to contemplate it. But yeah, and then the person that I always love talking to that doesn't quite get as much attention, I was glad to see she got a lot of cheers today, is Kayla McBride. She's always a great interview, really engaging, really has an interesting take. And it was really fascinating to hear her talk about how, she entered the league not as a shooter and now she's got the green light. And she was sort of joking, maybe she pushes it a little bit. And I was like, oh, really? Have you actually reached the limit? And she's like, no, not quite. But she said Cheryl gives her a lot of rope. And she's clearly earned it. So she was nice. Was there anyone else you specifically enjoyed talking to?
I think the usual talking to Sabrina Ionescu, talking to Brianna Stewart. Was able to talk with Fee Physicali a little bit.
What did she have to say? I didn't hear too much from her myself.
Oh, I just asked her about her experiences abroad, especially given that she'll be participating with the Olympic team. She has experience playing in the overseas game, just differences between the game over there versus here. And then just asking her about Unrivaled, what she thinks about the fan support that people have been giving that.
Yeah, we're seeing lots more. Have they? And now, how many players are they up to for Unrivaled? We keep seeing it.
9, 10.
Yeah, all Olympians so far, right? Is that true?
Not
necessarily.
No.
Enrique
is part of it.
So so it'll be interesting to see how many. It's quite impressive what a roster they're pulling together. And one thing, I forget if I said this. I must have said this, I think, on the last podcast. It'll be interesting to see how it balances out if they really are earning 5 times or more their current salaries. How much appetite they're going to have to be playing and potentially injuring themselves in leagues during the kind of winter or whatever. So. But at the same time, you can't. It's such a short season for the WNBA. There is talk of going up to 44. There could be 44 games under the current CBA that's allowed. So there's definitely been speculation that might be the case next year. But still, that leaves a lot of time when you're not playing. And so, they're hoopers. They want to play. So I think it's great. And I believe I read, I should have probably fact checked this before saying that, but I think Alex Gazelle, who is key there at Unrivaled and married in the piece, said that I think the salaries are up to $350,000. So that is quite enticing. Quite enticing. So yeah, so that was cool. So so many great players, but those were some kind of things that I definitely noticed from all the media availabilities, the proverbial media scrums. I will say I was a little surprised. Definitely was not as crazy as the Final Four, in a good way, I thought. So, there was clearly more interest, it was clearly more crowded, but it wasn't overwhelming, and it wasn't too many people that felt like interlopers that, had no clue. There weren't too many situations like we had during the press conferences at the Final Four. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else has happened. Oh, WNBA Live. I guess we talked a little bit about that when we recorded last time because we'd already been there. But that was a lot of fun. I went this afternoon. You were there too, briefly, right? I saw you briefly as we left, and it was crowded today.
It was.
It was crowded. I didn't go. Did you check out the WNBA store and see if they had increased the prices in the last 3 hours before All-Star game, or decreased the price?
I didn't get a chance to check it out by then.
Yeah, a lot of. I think, like I said, I think the WNBA Jam shirt with Caitlin and Angel is definitely my favorite merch that I saw out there. But yeah, it was crowded. And oh yeah, we were talking about Sue Bird earlier. I saw her, I think, at the La Crema Wines, who's the partners with the WNBA this year. I mean, it reminded me of like being at Disney World and seeing people like lining up to take pictures with Mickey Mouse or like a Disney princess or something. There was like this giant line of people, and she was like standing there, and she kind of, talked to them briefly and took pictures with everybody. She was again like a Disney princess or something like that. It's pretty wild. So it just shows the interest in the game and how many fans there are. Right, everyone. I'm not gonna try it in French, even though we did see the shirts, but everyone watches women's sports. So yeah. So I don't know. Any other kind of things we haven't talked about from your experiences here? It's, as you said, it's great just to see everybody. The community coming together. It's fun on the media side to see people that aren't always in the same place as well. That's always a highlight for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just great to see everybody, get everybody here, experience the greatness that is the WNBA players and the coverage. So I think I think that's a good spot.
Exactly, and the greatness that is Alford Corriette. I don't often see you in person.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a highlight to spend some quality time with you. So I'm glad you could come out to Phoenix. I'd like to thank everybody listening today. If we don't have anything else, if you're listening, if you're watching, we really appreciate it. As always, they say, if you give us 5 stars, subscribe, rate and review, all that good stuff. And please, really, we would appreciate if you subscribe to our stat site, because that's really what's supporting our journalism that we're doing right now. And hopefully you'll find you're getting lots of great information as well as keeping up. So we got our stat site, these podcasts, and also the free newsletter that we have. So we really appreciate everybody's support, not just this WNBA season, but over the years, dating back to when we started in 2017. And we're excited to, I think this is probably the 6th All-Star game. I guess the COVID throws me off. We've had someone at, maybe it's 5 because they didn't have one, but I'm excited to be here for at least another 5 more. Me or other folks from the team. It's just it's so exciting. I think the future for women's basketball, and I think this weekend was really nice. You could sort of see both some of the greats like Diana and for the future at the same time. I mean, even Paige Beckers was in the stand. She has a chance to be the most famous person here too. So cool. So thanks everybody, and look for more of your regularly scheduled Hurry Up Stats programming later this week.